Hi everybody, welcome back to Avowed RAW. This is episode number 3. I am Joe the Wigit, and I am joined by my fellow co-host, who's also a magic user. So we're just the magic bros, Archon.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I kind of move around. Like, I got different things, but mostly, magic.
I think one thing we should probably get into tonight, or today, or this morning, depending on when time you're listening, is the magic system. Maybe talk about our opinion on the spells and how to use them and the different types of grimoires that you can use for different scenarios. From what we've seen.
And how very extremely important magic is in this game.
Yeah. I don't see a way you can go through the game without using magic. Well, you can. It just wouldn't be as fun and exciting.
You could still do some of the things that you need to do with grenades.
True, yeah. And you get a lot of those, too.
With your different throwables.
You guys probably are hearing a void in the voices tonight. Kilo, unfortunately, had to work a 14-hour day today and could not make recording, so we apologize. And he had a special message. I don't know if I want to say it or not.
I don't know. We don't. I mean, we love our listeners in Ohio too much, but he's stuck in Ohio and he has some choice words to say about Ohio.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a PG show. It's an R show, but we still
don't want any misguided offense.
I got about. I'd say I got about 10 to 15 hours of actual gameplay in. I know Archon's put in a good amount, so we got some really stuff to get into. I am full magic. I have a secondary I've been using, a pistol and a dagger I found that's unique. Been trying to get that more into it, but nah, I'm full magic. But before we get to that, though, they had a patch that came out a few days ago, which is a good thing. Yeah, when developers are right out of the gate patching the game and getting things fixed, especially when they start it by saying community requested fixes.
My only problem with the patch is it seems like since the patch, I've been crashing about once every couple hours.
I haven't crashed at all.
I've
died a lot, though.
I crash quite a bit, and I get some like critical something Alabama error is what it says every time I crash.
Have you checked your drivers for your video card?
Yep.
Because I know that NVIDIA just released one of them, and that reminds me I need to update mine, but I can't do it right now. I'm kind of recording.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that, but I know when it first started happening, that was the first thing I checked, was to make sure all my drivers and everything were up to date.
I figured as much.
Were at the time.
I figured you would, because you're a smart guy, but there's some listeners probably that are having a problem. Check your video card driver.
Actually, to be fair, the first thing I did was turn it off and turn it on again. Then I checked my video drivers, because you always got to turn it off and turn it on again first.
Oh, yeah, of course. I know that Kilo had some game time in, and I was really excited to get his opinion and his play, but we'll have to wait for episode 4.
Next week.
These games always, they break when they fix patches, other things break. It's a massive gamble. I used to work in the game industry as a designer, and we had to test the snot out of everything that I'm using air quotes here, fixed. Because it always broke something else. My allergies are terrible, so I apologize for my voice now breaking up. But what they did do is they did updates to equipment tier differences, or difference feedback and penalties / bonuses. I'm not really sure about this, what this is for.
It's probably for the, if you're under geared, the penalties and bonuses you get. How you hardly do any damage. At first you did jack squat damage if the mob was more than 2 tiers above you. You hardly could hit the dang thing.
That makes sense.
Unless you were using magic.
Yeah, which I do. And I've been coming across a lot of enemies that are higher tier than me. They're all in the epic quality. And I'm still in the rare quality, the blue.
Upgrade your gear.
Yeah, I gotta find all the stuff. You know how hard it is for me to find anything in these games? Because my luck is at the bottom of the table.
You find mats absolute crazy in every chest you find.
Dude, have you seen my luck?
Yeah,
I've opened chests and found one mat.
And then you could take your lower tier mats and upgrade them to the higher tier mats so that you can upgrade faster. I mean,
okay, wait. That makes sense, yeah. I know, I got to go around and just start collecting. I've been kind of doing that lately because I've been running into a lot of mobs that have been killing me a lot. And I'll come back and fight them and eventually win, but barely alive. And there's this whole thing with not luck potions. I wish there was a luck potion. That'd be amazing. But health potions. I'll get into that later, but that's been a nightmare for me.
It'll get better. I promise. Because when I went through the first area and the beginning of the second area, I had the same issue where I never seemed like I could have enough. Like I always seemed to be out of health potions. But now I think I have like 34. Like I just have a ton. I find them all over the place. I'll like walk into a room and there'll be like 5 of them. I'm like, oh, okay.
I have 1 or 2 on me at any time right now. And going and doing these boss fights, not good when you're a squishy magic user.
My problem that I've run into now is like when I got into the 4th area, it seems like every single chest I find is locked and takes like 3 to 5 lockpicks to unlock. So I'm like, I went from like 40 something lockpicks to I have none. I'm out of lockpicks. And
I buy them anytime I see them on a merchant because I was doing the whole merchant run trying to find health potions, which I only found 2 in all the merchants.
Yeah. Did you go back to the old ones?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a ton of merchants. Did you go to all of them?
All the ones that I've unlocked and seen, I found 2. I'm telling you, man.
Have like 5 to 6 every single.
My luck is that bad. No, not a single one in all of brain fart here, Paradis, and then the new town that you go to, which it's the French name in the second area. Yeah, I only found 1 merchant, the apothecary, and she had 2. Everyone else had none.
Oh, I was gonna say there's like 4 merchants.
Yeah, I went to all the merchants. There was not a single one. Even the merchants that are outside the city that I've found so far didn't have anything. They had lockpicks, so I bought those up. And all I see is essence potions everywhere.
Are you playing on easy are you playing on normal?
Yeah.
That is so weird because like every vendor I go to has like 5.
I'm telling you, man, that's my luck.
But I don't buy them.
Of.
I started buying. Maybe that's why, because I never buy them from the vendors, so they always have them. Because I never buy them because you start finding so many of them, you don't need them.
That's all I've been relying on is just finding them, which hasn't been very good. I find maybe 2 or 3 in about an hour of looking around. It's bad.
And it also depends on what kind of mage you are.
But I also have 50 essence potions that I never have to use because it's rarely ever do I need to pop one of those.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of mage you are, also to how many health pots you have. Because if like I'm an ice mage and nothing ever touches me because
I do a full elemental spectrum right now.
Oh, see, I went all ice and like 90% of every fight I do, everything's frozen and not attacking me anyway. So
I get in that a little bit though. I'm getting this whole magic thing in a little bit. Upgrade materials can no longer be sold to merchants to inadvertently make upgrading difficult. We have a long-term fix involving buying back from merchants in the work. So temporarily it's been turned off to prevent people from accidentally selling them because you can't buy them back right now.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Mm-hmm. There was some missing NPCs in specific situations. NPCs weren't where they should be. Saving the game and reloading will put them back where they should be.
I wonder if that'll fix that quest that I had that was broken for me.
Oh yeah, the one you told me about.
Yeah.
We will have a fix soon that fixes the situation completely and doesn't require save and load. Quests and exploration fixes. They fixed the brambles in the Delmagan Glade.
Okay.
They will now vanish when the... I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Adrigan Heart is acquired, preventing players from getting stuck inside. Greiska, the apothecary, now correctly speaks with the player to advance an ultimate ending, even if they previously encountered a bug with Thala the Ogre spawning twice. Okay, so they're getting good fixes in here. A lot of stuff I don't know because I'm not there. Okay. Merchants at the Dawnshore docks now offer fine gear in addition to common gear.
Interesting.
Okay, reviving companions in combat now restores them to 75% of their maximum health instead of 50. That's useful. I use that, the godlike heal spell all the time when they go down.
Pops them back up, yeah. Yep.
Run over to them, pop it really quick, and run out. Starting health of companions has been increased to help with their viability in combat. That makes... Oh, I've seen a difference in that, actually. My guys don't die as quick anymore. They still die, but just not as quick. They removed a chance to crash when casting Corrosive Siphon on destructible objects. That's not good. That's something that you would do all the time.
Cast Corrosive Siphon?
No, any spell.
I wouldn't. I just break them.
I've done it where I did like my AoE ice spell that I had in my previous Grimoire, just to break everything in sight.
Blizzard?
Yeah, it wasn't. It might have been Blizzard. I just had the Greater Elements Grimoire for a while, but I just found a new one. I had a chance to play with the spells. I'm debating which one I want to use right now, but yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. They did a lot of quest fixes. Fixed the invisible collision, blocking the player, and Strangle Root. Thankfully, I did not run into that. They have a couple fixes in Strangle Root, actually, which is in the first zone, so...
Like, there is one bug that I've run into in the game that I wonder if they fixed or if they're planning on fixing. And that's like if you go into like say like a bounty or something, and you aggro the monsters, and then like you start kind of running away, and you get like right to the edge of the like before they'll run back. If you get like right to the edge, they'll start running backwards and won't attack you. They'll just kind of run backwards, and you can just sit there and attack them, and they won't attack you.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like, this could be exploited.
Yeah, you think? So there was the lady in the first zone, not to give any spoilers really, but there's a point where you're given a coin if you talk to the right person to throw into a pond after you talk to someone. And I tried doing that after I talked to her, and it gave me no option to throw that coin in the pond.
I don't remember that. Put the coin into it.
Well, you go talk to the soul mender lady in her little cottage in the outskirts of nowhere.
Oh, the Watcher?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't remember getting anything to throw a coin in it.
It's an NPC outside of her hut you talk to. And when you talk to him and you go through a certain conversation, he thanks you by giving you a coin to throw into the pond. And tells you it's tradition to do that after you talk to her.
Do you not, like... It's not like a quest you get? It's just like a random NPC talking to you?
Well, the coin appears as quest item, but you don't get an actual quest for it. At least I didn't.
Huh.
But I got the quest item.
I've gotten all the, like, anytime I've seen an exclamation point for a quest, I've gotten, like, every one of those quests, and I've been doing them all, but, like... Yeah,
he didn't have an exclamation point, but when I talked to him, he did give me the coin, and I went all around the pond, inside, out of it, trying to find a spot to throw the coin in. I thought maybe you just don't. But then I see this bug right here that they fixed. Fixed issues with pond coin interactions. And I was trying to do that before the update, so maybe it got fixed?
Go back there and try it.
Yeah, I might have to. I'm going to see what these interactions are.
Yeah, see if it changes anything.
They did a lot of fixes for system and gameplay improvements, audio improvements, visual and art fixes, and some UI and controls as well. With the Xbox Cloud, quite a few for the cloud actually. Because I know that our boy Kilo, he plays off of the cloud right now on his Series X, I think is what he has.
No, he has the Xbox One.
Oh, the One, yeah.
Xbox One X. He doesn't have the Series X because I know he said he wanted that because that's the good one.
Yeah, I don't own a game system other than my PC. I'm going to need to when I move, though. I want one for my living room. I'm debating on an Xbox or a PlayStation. I haven't decided yet. But seeing as like every game that we do our shows on is Xbox, I might have to get an Xbox.
For the most part. The one thing I would say is like I'm a PlayStation guy, so for most of the time I would recommend Xbox. But since you have Game Pass already, I mean, if you got the Xbox, you'd have a bunch of
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm a PlayStation guy like you. If anyone who listens to our other show, Raw and Nerdy, go check it out. It's awesome. All things nerdy. Yeah. And I'm a PlayStation guy just like you. I always have been. I've never owned an Xbox in my life. But ever since we've been doing this, and you're right, with the subscription, it would make sense for me to get an Xbox.
I mean, you wouldn't have to buy as many games that way.
I'll have to talk to my lady and see what she thinks. That's it for the bugs, the recent patch. And they have been hinting at doing content patches in the near future. I think that would be amazing if they do it. Yeah.
Already? Well, I was talking to you about this the other day, and especially now that I've been to all 4 places, like, there is so many places on the map that look like there could be another city that you don't go to. So they've left so much room for adding content,
Yeah.
expansions, things like that. They've left a ton of room on the map. So, I mean, I fully expect them to add more.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I think you and I have the very same opinion on some things in the game. I'm going to go first with my gameplay if that's cool with you, because you've done more.
Hey, go for it.
I didn't get as much time as I wanted. Life, it gets in the way. But I am not the biggest... I know I talked to you off the air about this, but I want to talk to you on the air as well. I don't like Marius. The comments he makes, he's kind of an a-hole. When you're talking to NPCs and interactions, the things he suggests are just, ugh. I don't like him.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, don't. But so far, I don't like him.
As you get to know him more, you realize there's a reason for it.
Well, they're hinting at that. Kai's brought it up a few times.
Yeah.
And I was curious about something, because I know we get other companions. They said you get 4 permanent companions, but there's others that come in and out. I wonder if they actually wrote full dialogue and interactions between each of the different companions, depending on who you pair together. Because you can have 2, right?
Yep.
Right now I only have Marius and Kai, but...
Yeah, you have 4 total, but you can have 2 with you. And when you go into your camp, all 4 of them are there, and they will talk and interact together. And when you talk to one, they all will butt in. And
I was mostly referring to when you're out and about doing quests, because I got Kai and Marius always interacting with each other as we're running around. Or when I talk to an NPC, they'll have something to say. Sometimes both of them, sometimes one of them.
Well, I will tell you that you have met all 4 of your companions.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You've met all 4.
But Kai, I really like. His personality and what he has to say, I really like.
Yeah, Kai's pretty cool.
He's a generally good guy. And I'm kind of getting the impression, because I noticed that Morius and Kai are pretty much opposite in a lot of the situations that I've chosen to do. Mm-hmm. One of them's always against it, the other one's always for it. And if they have like a companion that's set up for, depending on how you want to play the game, to have someone that will agree with you.
Yeah, and I mean, there are situations where more than one will agree, or both of them you have with you will agree, depending on the situation. But yeah, there is definitely you feel like a lot of your choices feel like they have a lot of weight to them, because you feel like you're gonna make one of your companions mad over the other one, or vice versa, and like either way you're gonna hurt someone's feelings, and it's kind of I don't know, kind of weighs on your decisions, I think, a little bit, in my experience so far.
Okay, you're doing a good job, buddy, not spoiling anything. I appreciate it.
I'm doing my best.
We're gonna get into some spoiler things and then in the upcoming episodes, and if we do one, we'll put a spoiler warning like we talked about last episode, and so you guys are prepared for that and you can skip it.
Being that the game officially launched just like 2 days ago, I don't want to spoil anything yet, because some people are just sinking their teeth into the game. And
my son is actually. I forgot to mention that. He listened to our first episode when me and Keela were talking about the game itself, and he got really excited for it. And he told me, "I wish Archon was on the show." I said, "Just listen to episode 1 or 2.
Yeah, listen to number 2,
and now 3 and 4 and 5." But he got all my luck when he was born. That's where all my luck went. Yeah. And he told me he got 5 uniques in the starting zone, in the starting little island.
Okay, so on the starting island, I don't think that's possible. I don't even think you can get a unique until you get to the mainland. You get your first one in the lighthouse. Yeah, you get your first one in the lighthouse. And it is confirmed. I have actually tested it myself, and people have told me that every unique in the game is found in a specific location. And it's in every single playthrough. It will be in the same exact spot. So it's not your luck if you haven't found uniques. It's just you haven't found them. But they are there. They're in the same spot on every playthrough.
My luck comes with the chest.
Yeah,
I've opened up
that's just
the gold glowing chest, and it was just one item. Adra, yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot too. That's what I was telling you on the last show, that like I'll open a chest and there won't be a unique in it. It'll be a gold glowing chest, and the only thing in it is just an Adra.
I've gotten uniques off of those gold glowing chests before.
I have too. I've gotten a few, but the ones that are designed to be there.
And like we were talking about earlier about upgrading, that's my biggest tip of the week. Upgrade as much as you can. As often as you can. Even if you think you're going to replace this item in the near future, still upgrade it.
Yeah, Rook has actually been playing as well, and he's obsessed with getting himself maxed out in Fine before he leaves the first area. And I'm like, dude, like you don't even start finding the mats for Fine until you get to the second area. Like upgrading your mats to do it, it's just going to make you run out of mats. But he's just determined that's what he wants to do, so Rook can't change his mind once he's got it set on something.
He's a stubborn one.
Very much so.
And with the choices in this game, I'm going to dive into this a little bit, because I know how much your choices can affect everything in the game, even if you're going to get certain quests down the road or not. And I found myself, anytime there's a big choice, it'll take me 4 or 5 minutes to make that choice, unless I already know exactly what I want to do, because I'm sitting here weighing all the consequences in my brain.
You know what else I found out? Not only do your choices affect outcomes in the game, but the order in which you choose to do your quests also determine outcomes in the game, because there are some quests that if you haven't done another quest already when you get to that point, then certain things won't happen and you won't be able to do it the same way you could if you had already done the other quest first.
Okay.
Like for instance, I was doing one quest where I had to save this girl, and then she showed up in another quest later, and had I not saved her already, she would not have showed up then, and she would not have talked these other people into helping me or whatever, So if you don't do even the side quests and stuff, if you don't do them in the in a specific order, you're going to get a different outcome in how you play the game.
Interesting.
That's
awesome.
It's very interactive. It's kind of cool. I like it.
So yeah, I've been really pondering every choice in the game I make. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
There are a lot of choices. But then, like, I don't know. It's yeah. I'll agree with you there. Just there are a lot of choices, and some of them can be tough for sure.
So, have you gotten any like heavy Wheel of Time vibes in the story of the game?
You know, I saw you say that, and I thought about it, and no,
Because I always talk
I
about the
don't.
wheel and how it's the wheel of reincarnation, and it reminds me of reading the books.
See, I that okay from that perspective, maybe where they talk about return like that's the only mention of wheel, I guess, in the thing. But like the way they describe it isn't really the same way as Wheel of Time.
Okay, I was
I
just
guess because I
wondering.
just freshly read it.
Which is why I was
Like
asking you.
I never really got that. I saw it in your notes, and I was like, huh, interesting.
There's a
I'm
few things
curious
here
how
and
he
there
thinks that.
that made me think about it. Just some of the things they say, especially talking to the Watcher and the dreams that you constantly get, which annoy the living crap out of me.
Yeah, they're so frequent. And so one thing I've noticed about this game, and it kind of bugs me a little. Like I really like, especially in the first, I'd say 2 zones. I really, really like the story and where it's going and stuff. But there is just so much dialogue, so much. Every
There
time you talk
is.
to an NPC, you got to go through like 50 different dialogue options before you're
I
done
was
talking
trying
to
to
that one
like
NPC.
save so I can go to bed, and it's like taking me 10 minutes just to do a conversation.
Right. There's so much dialogue, and I've gotten to the point later in the game where like I didn't want to do this or get to this point, but I just like spacebar. Like I
Yeah,
don't listen to it. Like I'll like read it fast and then just skip, skip. Like I read it, I still read it, but I don't listen to them anymore. Like because it takes so long to get through any dialogue scene if you do. If you want to like sit there and watch them play it out, you're going to be sitting there for a half hour.
I think there's a lot of people that really enjoy that kind of thing, though. Getting
Yeah,
engrossed in the story like that, because it does pull you in a little bit here and there.
right.
If you can get
Oh,
past some of the mouths not really matching the words, but
yeah, it's true. Like I mean, when it's my turn, like I make sure and like read through all the options and choose the one I
oh yeah,
want. I've also noticed that as I get further into the story, and especially if the dialogue in particular is starting to irritate me, it influences my choices, and I've become a little bit more of a dick as we get further on. Like my choices have become a little bit more brash and like I just don't have the time for people anymore, and it reflects in my choices because I'm like, I don't want to talk to more people. Gosh, leave me alone.
okay, I get
It,
that.
it is funny though because like I started out just being the nicest guy at the beginning, and now I'm just like, if you want to fight, let's fight. Let's go for
Let's
it.
just get it over with. I even saved the lizard dude relationship with that girl in the beginning. I
Oh yeah, me
spared the
too.
lizard.
Me too.
My son told me that you get a special item if you end up killing him. But it was
Oh.
interesting watching that play out, and then what happens later on when you meet up with her again.
Well, there's one like I'm not again, no spoilers or anything, but there's one decision you make later in the game that if you don't make one of like there's one of two decisions. If you don't make one of the two decisions, you don't get a godlike power.
Hmm.
Like it's like big decisions like that. So
Oh yeah.
and neither one of the choices are really great choices, and you're like, man, I don't know which of the two bad choices to make. Apparently made the right one because I got the godlike
I
power for
saw
it, but
like even when we got the healing one, I'm not gonna say where or when you get it, but I saw a path where you probably wouldn't get that one either.
that's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible some of the choices you can make.
Actually, I've actually seen screenshots of people like where they're like people have posted screenshots of their godlike abilities and they have like the ones after that but don't have that one. So there must be a way to not get it.
I've purposely been avoiding all that stuff online because I want to see the powers and everything for myself and see a lot of different things for myself. But
Mhm.
I know I might get ruined on a little bit of that, and that's fine. And okay, being a designer myself in the past, I don't know whether to shake the hand of the person or persons who designed Paradise or to punch them in the face because that city can get confusing when you're trying to run around.
I don't hate it. And after I went through it the first time, I teleport around it. I don't ever like run around it. I teleport where I need to go. I don't waste time.
I was running around it trying to find stuff, and sometimes it just gets overly confusing without a need to be confusing, but some of the design layout was really clever. So I was always torn between wanting to beat them up or to shake their hand.
Yeah. I like Fior because it's a lot more simple. It's a much smaller town. It's not near as big. Like you don't get lost as much. I don't have to teleport around Fior because it's like
Yeah, it's simple. It's got a what would be a reasonable layout in reality for a city
yeah
or a town. It's not a city;
yeah.
it's a town. But
Same with the third one. I like it. It's easy. It's not huge. It's just Paradise that's kind of a interesting one, we'll say.
one thing I came across that I found very interesting that I didn't know about until it happened. But I found out you can train with your companions after a certain point. We were talking when that happened to me, and you can get stat bonuses from training with them, which I thought was pretty cool.
Based on what I've seen on Steam, there's an achievement for training with each of your companions. So I think there's a way eventually that you can train with each of them. I do see one thing in your notes that I wouldn't say though, because it's kind of a spoiler.
Oh, was it? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, because I like when I saw that, I know I was like, huh, and that kind of shocked me and kind of had something to do with the story. So
Oh, okay. I'll
I'd wait on
exclude
that.
that one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd wait on that.
I did eventually make it to the Emerald Stair. I was trying to do everything I could in the first zone, but there's still like half the map undiscovered.
Same.
So, I mean, there's still so
I
much
did
I could
everything.
do that we
I
know
did all
of.
the quests. I did all the quests and stuff, but there's another achievement I saw for like finding every one of like the little teleport points and stuff and all that, and I don't know if I found all those or not.
Seeing as I
Unless I
still have
unlocked the
half
whole
the map
map.
grayed out, I'm assuming I did not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. There's one for like finding all the little camps and one for finding all the little waypoints.
And I hate
Who
the
knows?
mushrooms, by the way. I hate mushrooms. They tear me
Why?
to shreds. I don't pay attention to them. Like their
That's
little
where ice comes
exploding
in handy.
ability, and one of them will shoot seeds or something at me that melts my health.
Yeah, that's where the ice comes in handy. They can't do it if they're frozen.
And this is a trope in a game that drives me nuts, and it's the same way in this one. Why can't NPCs ever just give you their help without you having to do some weird mundane task for them in exchange for a little piece of information?
Yeah.
Like, go kill my
Dumb.
undead guy in the barn. Why? Why not just tell me? I'll be on my merry way. Go muck my stalls. Why?
That would make that would make the quest too easy.
Is
Gotta
that
do all the little side quests.
Well, if they can do little things that actually make sense for the story, that'd be great. Not fix your personal problems with impotency.
Or here, let me quiz you on being a godlike.
Oh, God, that was so
Tell me
annoying.
all of your information, and I'm going to ask you the dumbest questions on the planet.
Yeah, possible. The dumbest ones we could possibly think of.
Yeah,
And then
that's just you got to add filler.
and treat
The
you like an
game
animal.
would
Yeah.
the game would be so short if there wasn't all the filler.
There's ways around that without having to do that stuff.
Yeah,
You can have them say like, "Oh yeah, here's what you need to know, but hey, if you want to do this for me, I could really use your help," and make it an option, not force you to do it.
let me see if you're worthy by having you kill my undead guy.
Right. I need
Yeah.
you to shine my third pair of shoes. Then I will tell you that no, I do not know. Not
Yeah.
any spoilers because I'm just making a bunch of stuff up, but that as examples. But yeah, it's similar to that. And like I was telling you earlier, I am having such a huge problem with potions. It's been driving me crazy. I go around killing all these baddies, and I have to stop after I die 3 times and go find health potions somewhere. 1 or 2 at a time, if at the most.
Are you using like your food in between fights?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
But I never have
You
more
know
than
you-
2 or 3 potions on me at any time.
You can use your food during fights too,
But it
right? It just
doesn't
regens a
regen.
little slower.
It regens
No,
so
it's just-
slow. Doesn't make any
it's
work.
just a little
doesn't make it worth
slower.
it. Little?
A little slower.
I die long before that even gets to like 1/10 of the health regen.
What you
It's
dying
really
for?
slow. Because I'm squishy.
Well, you're also using light armor, and I think that's your biggest issue.
I am, but see the thing is I don't have to ever really use essence potions. I don't run out of essence and I'm chain casting spells.
I don't really run out of essence that much either, though.
I want to see what I can do. I mean, I'm getting better at dodging. That's my biggest problem is learning how to dodge.
Yeah.
Using the spacebar to AWSD, and I keep forgetting and hit control because that's what other games use, and I wind up crouching instead.
My biggest pet peeve is, and I could probably change the key binding on this and make it easier for me, but with Z being my potion, every time I reach down with my pinky to hit Z, I hit my Windows key and it pulls up my window, like my Windows start menu, and puts me out of the game, and then I gotta click back into the game and get back into my fight, and then by then I'm usually using my second win because I'm dead because I wasted 3-4 seconds. But I hit my Windows key so much and it drives me nuts. I should
Yeah.
probably change my potion key bind. At
The
least
Z
that
and
one.
X is, a little rough.
It's just the Z is just right there next to my Windows key.
And shift and
It's-
alt and makes it things difficult.
Yeah.
I want to, you know what? I have 2 buttons on the side of my mouse. I could probably keybind them to, like, have the top one be health, bottom one be essence, and just use that.
Yeah, just use the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Or just bust out my controller. Play with the controller.
I have one of those too, but I like using keyboard and mouse too much. Master
Same.
race.
Yeah, same.
So there was this moment last night when I was playing where I had to take on 2 brigand bosses at the same time up on a shelf, and I had.
Was it? There's 3. You're talking about the Trenton family or whatever?
Yeah, was there 3 of them?
Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's
Well,
the
I must have
the
killed the other one
sister.
without thinking about it.
There's a sister and 2 brothers.
I know the brothers. I killed them easily. Well, I didn't kill them easily. I had 2 health potions on me and had 0 when I ended the fight, and had like maybe 1/8 of my health left, and was cheering and yeah, I got it. I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, yeah, I did it. And yeah, I didn't see the archer behind the bush.
He smoked you.
Smoked me. So I had to reload and go do it again.
That sucks.
And then one more time after that. But I did do it.
You don't celebrate until the little map in the corner is not blinking anymore.
I didn't even see it blinking.
It blinks red when you're in combat.
And my companions were standing still too. I thought, oh yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
My bad.
Archer was just in a place that your companions couldn't get.
How dare they be good at that? Oh, and I've been looking for a unique wand and a grimoire constantly. I found the one in the shop for the wand, the lightning wand. That one's fun. I use it. Good stunning. But I finally found my first unique grimoire. And it was in a little like ruins in the middle of nowhere.
So
Old Cura's Grimoire?
I could be wrong, but I don't think I actually know I'm not wrong. I'm 100% not wrong. But you know in Paradise how there's the blacksmith chick and then her sister right down the way?
Yeah.
Her sister right down the way sells a unique grimoire.
I didn't see one.
It does. It's I don't remember what spells are on it, but she sells.
I haven't went back and looked. I didn't see it. I
Yeah.
must have missed it then because it wasn't showing for me.
It's there. Gosh, I don't remember what it's called.
I never got the armor that you and Rook got, so I don't know.
Which one?
For having the bigger edition of the game.
Are you looking in your stash?
I looked everywhere in the stash, every tab, everywhere. Not there.
That's weird.
It was 100% empty. All it has in there now is a couple uniques I put in there for now.
That's really weird.
I don't know. Maybe I'm bugged and it's just where my luck is. But I did found old Korra's Grimoire, and it is interesting. I've been playing with the spells a little bit before I had to stop. I'm gonna play with it more. I kept I'm only tier 2 in the rare section of it, but I kept my old one, the advanced elements one, because I like that one a lot. But this one has chill blades, which just shoots out daggers of ice, which is great because it does chill them right away. The blizzard one I had didn't chill them all the time. This one does, but I have to aim it. And it has Ring of Fire, which creates that ring of fire around me basically and just burns anything that gets close to me. That one's okay, but it takes a ton of essence to cast. And it has Returning Storm, which is a cool lightning storm I use, which does build a lot of stun on everything around it. And there's another spell that I can't use yet because it requires rank 3 of Grimoire Mastery called
15?
The Pull of Aurora.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It looks like it creates a void and pulls things into it.
Yeah, it's a CC spell. It like pulls things and then they just kind of get frozen in the air for a minute. You just kind of it's just crowd control.
Yeah.
So
I'm hanging on
I
this
used
one.
it once or twice.
I'm using this Grimoire for now. I'm gonna give it a shot. I like the CC element of it. It doesn't do as much damage as the Advanced Elements one does, but it has a lot more CC options in it. I don't know if I like the Ring of Fire yet because it doesn't really protect me much. It just hurts them.
Right now, so my guy currently is level 25, so I have a lot more skill points, obviously. But
I'm level 9.
Once you get to rank 3 of a spell, you don't even need a Grimoire anymore because a Grimoire does you nothing. So, like, I went straight ice with my character, and I'm rocking dual wands. I have a lightning wand and an ice wand. So I'm rocking the dual wands, and all my spells I just cast from my bar because I don't need the Grimoire, because the Grimoire, if you have the spell, all it does, like if you are equipping a Grimoire, it basically makes it to where the spell's the next rank higher. But once you're rank 3, you can't get higher. So since my spells are all rank 3, I don't need the Grimoire to cast the spells. I mean, sometimes I do carry around a fire Grimoire, like an Embers Grimoire, in case I want to cast fire spells instead of my ice spells. But for the most part, I'm just dual wanding it now. Or sometimes I'll use like a wand and a shield if I'm in a tougher fight and I want to block. Or
I've been putting my points a lot into support skills. not so much spells themselves.
Yeah, I have some.
Using grimoires just to cast the spells.
Yeah, like I have the wand. Like I have all my points in the wand, so that my wand does 50% extra damage, and then I have all my points in the one that makes it to where like when you use a power attack, it like explodes on contact, and then I have 1 point in the one that makes it bounce.
Okay.
So it like bounces and explodes, which is kind of cool.
Well, let's get into your gameplay since we're already there.
Yeah. So Kai is definitely, like you said, he's one of my favorite companions. The guy has some of the best one-liners in the game. Like when he just randomly says, "Yeah, I got a few inches I could give her." Like just random things he says, not even necessarily in when you're talking to him. You just be walking through and he'll just say something just funny, and it cracks me up. Like that guy cracks me up. I used to not like Marius because, yeah, like you said in the beginning, he just kind of seems very like a Debbie Downer all the time.
Yeah.
But like, kind of, I like all the companions.
I don't really like how his opinion on certain events occur in the game.
Yeah.
Very self-centered and yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Like I said, there is a reason why, and once you get to know him a little bit more and you get more into his story, you start to like him a lot more, and you start to like really, understand him a little bit better. And I don't know, I like all the companions. Kai is definitely my favorite, closely followed by another companion. I won't tell you who because you haven't got him yet, and I don't want to spoil. They'll be one of your companions. I really, really am digging this whole like stunning hits thing that you do in the game. Like once you get them max stunned, they like get basically stunned, and then you do like a special attack against them. With like when you do it with your wand, you like charge up your wand and like it's like a machine gun coming out of your wand. You're like, it's really cool. Like I think that's a really cool aspect of the game. I just like the combat in this game. Like I've totally fallen in love with the combat.
It's fluid. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, it's so good. It like especially using a wand, it really gives me like Hogwarts Legacy vibes.
It does.
When I'm fighting with a wand, and I really like that because I love that game. Like I said, I'm running a all frost build, which is just like I don't want to say it's the meta build because I don't really know. I haven't really played with the other ones, but like it's so good. Like I think it's level 10. You get this spell. I think it's called Cold Snap or something like that, where you basically just channel ice out of your hand, and then once you get it to rank 2, you channel it out of both hands, and it just literally freezes anything it touches. So like you just like kind of do an arc around the battlefield, and you freeze everything, and then you just systematically destroy, and nothing really gets a chance to do much damage to you. That's why since I started doing that, like I don't really have much of an issue with health potions anymore because I don't really take a ton of damage.
I'm getting there. I'm only level 9.
Well, and then if they do break out, like if they do start breaking out of the ice, I just like evade back and then drop a big ice column down, which as soon as it hits, it like does this big burst of ice and freezes everything again. So it's like I just like go back and forth between those two spells and then just wand them all to death, and it's solid, man. Like no pun intended, but
I like how much options you have in combat, especially when you really get into magic.
Right.
The different combos and things you can do to control a fight it's so much fun.
Yeah. I have not even messed with lightning damage that much. I could see where it would be pretty good because it stuns things, but I've had a lot of issues with lightning damage doing damage to myself because the big thing with lightning is if you stun them, then they start pulsing electricity, and if you get too close to them or they get too close to you, then you get electrocuted as well and start taking damage. It is just...
Yeah, I found out that they did some good job with the physics of the magic. Like, for instance, water interaction. Like, you can freeze water with ice and create a little pad to jump on, which is, by the way, how you get to that island. And this is not a spoiler, but a pro tip. That's very useful in many aspects of the game. Don't forget that. That's why I was bringing it up.
Freeze water.
Also, be very careful with using electric magic around water because it will go through the water.
It'll electrocute you and your friends. Yeah.
I found that out the hard way.
Also, another thing is pay attention to what you find. That's another tip I would give you, or give our listeners. Pay attention to what you find, because if you're in an area and they're giving you ice grenades, there's usually a reason.
Oh yeah, big time.
There's usually a reason. If they're giving them to you in hordes, there's a reason. They want you to use them. So find a reason to use
I
them.
don't know if I really like that part though, because I noticed that like those big hints they throw
I wouldn't
around.
say
But
that they're big. I would say that they are like I would say they're subtle. Like
it
there
wasn't
was
very
one
subtle
part.
when there was like literally 8 different frost grenade plants all in one spot.
Yeah, but there was one part in particular I was doing I want to say in the second chapter where I was like literally walking back and forth getting mad cuz I'm like what am I supposed to do here? And then I realized like this was before it clicked to me about the ice and the freezing and all that and I found a spot where I had just picked an ice grenade and I realized that there was water there and a little ledge I could go on and I was like, "Oh, okay. Duh." So, I mean, it wasn't a glaring sign, but apparently I didn't realize this either. But apparently Rook said that when he went out to that little island that I was trying to figure out how to get to, he said if you walk right up to the edge, it gives you a little tip that pops up that says to use ice to freeze water or something. And I was like, oh well, if
Oh.
I'd have known that, then maybe I would have not been trying to figure out how to get on this island for so long.
Right.
So I'm in the last leg of the game right now. I'm on the fourth area that you go to before you finish the story, and I do have to be honest because it's my job as a podcaster to be honest. The story is great in the first area. I really enjoyed it, even into the second area. But once you start getting to the third, like I found myself caring about the dialogue less, like I said, and like clicking through it more. And like by the time you get to the fourth area, there's literally like you get slapped in the face, and it's so bad. I just when it happened, I was just like, "What are you freaking kidding me right now?" And then I went through the dialogue more to see how they even explained it, and it was so like they just brushed it off, and I just thought the storytelling got like really bad in that part. And I have seen a lot of reviews where a lot of people say, we'll talk about how everything about the game is great, except the story kind of just falls off and it just isn't that great. And I don't want to say it's not good. I'm still enjoying it and I still want to see where the story takes me and where it finishes. But like, it just like, it's like watching Game of Thrones and then getting to that last season and going, what? Like, really? Come on. Come on. You know what I mean? It's like you're really invested. You're really invested, and then you're like, man, I really wish this story would have stayed as good as it was in the first act because like it was so good, and I was really, really, really into it. So, but other than that, I love every aspect of this game so far. Every aspect.
I have a lot of fun with it every time I jump in, so that's been refreshing.
It is great, but you're gonna have to let me know after you get to the fourth act.
Yeah,
let me know what you think.
Yeah, I'll talk about it on the air.
Yeah, let me know what you think about what they did because
it might be a few episodes till I get to that point, but we'll get there. I have so much going on in my life right now; it's getting really hard to play games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But every chance I do get, I am playing Avowed, so I can't wait to get into it.
Right, but like I mentioned earlier, other than that, like I have had quite a few crashes, especially since the patch. I had to update my my frequency of autosave to like the max it will do. Like I think it's 1 minute because I have probably, I would say, spent at least an hour redoing things that I've already done because the game crashed and I hadn't saved in the last 5 minutes. So then I had to redo that again and again and again and again. And it's like, but I will say that out of all the games that have come out recently, this game has probably had the fewest bugs that I've ever seen on launch.
Yes, it's been very clean.
Which I appreciate because nothing irritates me more or makes me want to quit a game faster than a game that's just riddled in bugs. I was one of the sad few that played Final Fantasy XIV on launch when it was just Final Fantasy XIV before it became a Realm Reborn because they had to redo the whole game because it was so buggy and so terrible on launch. It took me a while to even trust a Realm Reborn. I had to like see a lot of people talk about how great it was before I'd go back and play it because
I understand
was so let down.
Even though I've been involved in projects where we did have glaring bugs at the beginning of the game when we first released it, so I understand that pain and the pressure to release a game on time. It's insane. Even when we know the game's not ready and we're being forced to release it. But this game is extremely clean, like you said. There is so much less glaring issues and bugs that I've seen in a long time when the game released.
Just don't understand how I get that the games are a lot more graphically intensive and technically intensive, but I don't remember ever picking up a Super Nintendo game on launch and being like, man, this game is so buggy. They've always been able to put out nice, clean, done games, but now all of a sudden it's like...
Oh, yeah, we had to.
Every game is
I remember working on God of War. When we were working on God of War, we didn't have the option to update the game. That wasn't an option yet.
There was no patch it out later, yeah.
We had to meet certain requirements from Sony, or we couldn't release the game. We had to. There had to be only so many different B class and C class bugs. No A, no S class, which are the main crashers, the big ones. Only have 2 or 3 known B class bugs in the game at the most, which are game altering. And the minor ones like visuals and audio, we were allowed to have more, but it was very strict on how many bugs were allowed in the game, because Sony would test it themselves. We had to release it to them. That's the going gold period, and they would go through their own in-house testers, if I can talk straight. And they went through the entire game. They went through our bug list. They tested everything. And when they found something, we had to fix it right away. I think I lived at Sony for 3 months during the gold period. It was a challenge. But when I worked on the game where we knew we could patch it later on, it was a lot less stressful. We'll just patch it later. Yeah, we'll just leave it. It won't be a big deal. We'll patch it later. It's a different mentality. Yeah. I don't like that mentality either.
Same. But thankfully, we don't have that much with Avowed, because Avowed is pretty solid from start to finish. I mean, I haven't had much of an issue except for the story issue.
I had one crash I mentioned in the last episode, and that was it. And it was just an amusing crash that happened at the right time. But I haven't really experienced any bugs other than maybe not getting my items.
That's weird. I don't know why you wouldn't have gotten them. I wonder if when you make a new character, if you'll have them on that character or not.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check. I don't know if that Grimoire is on that merchant, because I don't remember ever seeing it. I checked 2 or 3 times.
It is.
Well, you say it is. Yeah, it might be in your game, but it may not be in mine because of an error or a bug. I don't know.
That would go back and check if you have some type of loot bug in your game, and that's why you're not finding potions. That's why you're
that would be my
getting
luck,
hardly
man.
any mats.
That would be just on point. All right.
I have decided that when I do beat it, which will be probably within the next day or so, that I am going to start over. I'm not gonna do a full magic build this time. I'm gonna do some type of probably melee smasher type build, but I'm going to ramp the difficulty up, probably either to the top or at least hard, just so that I can really experience everything the game has to throw at me, I guess we'll say.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get as many of the 20 endings as I can.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. That's just, especially once you know the story. I think once I know the story, I think it's going to be a lot more boring second time through. That was kind of my problem I had with Starfield too, is that after I went through the Unity about 4 times, it was like, okay, I'm about done with this. I can't keep playing the same dialogue over and over and over and over again. Especially since I'm in the process of doing pretty much every side quest and stuff on my first playthrough. So I'm not even going to have side quests or anything to do that I haven't already done. I'll know right where to go and how to do them and everything. So
that works.
I mean, I get that that you do have different dialogues and a different ending, but there has to be some type of variety throughout the game too. Something to change it up a little.
I managed to doing 1.5 years worth of podcast episodes for Skyrim. Gotta get creative and have fun with it.
True.
All right.
Sure, we'll see how it goes.
That's gonna pretty much wrap up episode 1 or 3.
3.
What am I doing? 1. Episode 3. Is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap it?
No, I'm good.
All right, everybody. Here comes the fun stuff. If you'd like to email us for advertising or anything business related for suggestions for the show, podcastraw@gmail.com. That goes for any of our podcasts. That email address is for all of our network, including Raw and Nerdy. So check that show out. You won't regret it. I don't think. Our Discord is the place to be. If you want to come join the community, talk about Avowed, anything nerdy under the sun, even Starfield, go to our Discord, discord.gg/raw podcasts, RAWPODCASTS. Just put that right in your web browser and it'll take you right there to the invite to go on the server. If you don't know what Discord is, Google it and thank me later. Come on our Discord and say, thanks, Widget. Our Facebook is Raw Podcasts. Our Instagram
is Raw Podcast 1.
Thank you, sir. You can follow us on X as well. It's at Avowed RAW, RAW. And you can reach us individually. I am at the Wigit, THEWIGIT, everywhere.
And you can find me pretty much everywhere as the Archon 606.
If you guys want to reach Kilo, I don't know why you would, but if you want to reach him, I mean, you can. At Kilo Tango 1122. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and go blow up some monsters for me. Kick some lizards in the ass.
Have a great week, guys.